Hi everybody, my name is Ackley, and I went to high school this year. To be honest, I have a very harsh family. Everyone is very serious, and there rarely are displays of affection. My parents never hug or kiss. They don't even hold hands. They don't even hug me. No one has ever hugged or kissed. Yeah, can you believe it? Parents don't hug me or kiss me at all. Of course. Also, we're all very independent. Everyone takes care of themselves. Sometimes I even feel like I was never a kid. I was born a teenager straight away. I have no older brothers or sisters, and I'm alone, and I'm an only child in the family. We don't even have any pets. Everything is harsh, very army-like style. Although my dad is not a military man, but an engineer in a factory. My mom is always serious and rarely smiles, but I still love my family and I'm very grateful for them for being there. When I was little, sometimes when I saw people hugging, I would ask my mom what that was and why they were doing it. My mom always said that it was silly and that I should not try and repeat it. We rarely went to crowded places. I didn't go to kindergarten. When I went to school, I was so used to guarding my boundaries that I tried to keep a close circle around me, at least 30 centimeters in diameter, and I was very good at it. It was the custom in my family, and it made me feel safe and comfortable. Sometimes you could think that I walk inside a hoop, and it tightly holds the boundaries around me. Frankly, at home, I was taught to walk in it, saying that it's a fundamental aspect to respect others and to respect yourself. Don't push them or touch people. People can be easily offended. And at school, no one particularly paid attention to this. No. Of course, some people thought that I was a freak, but not particularly laughing at me. And I even have some friends, so I can not call my life completely terrible. In a word, everything was fine by my standards. And I went safely to high school and generally went on until one day, something happened. It was a regular lunch break. I was munching on my sandwich and chatting with my guy friends, and I suddenly saw her. No, it wasn't Ariana Grande. It was Bella. And she was, wow, really cool. I forgot I was even eating. She walked past me with her friends and I could just smell her perfume and I thought that the whole world was gone. It was just her. Wow, speechless. I was out of breath and I didn't know what to say. My heart skipped a beat. I'd forgotten what I'd been talking to my friends about. It seemed to take forever. In fact, no one even noticed the change. It was a huge shock for the rest of the day. Couldn't figure out what was happening to me. I just wasn't myself. That day is when it started. The most important thing that I had known, the most important thing that I ever known, that since childhood, nothing like this had ever happened. But now, whenever I saw her, I was in a sweat, stuttered, and really wanted to get close to her, much closer than my hoop would allow. I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know who to talk to, and they wouldn't understand me at home. And then I decided I was sick and stayed home for a day. It was torture. When I didn't see her, I was even more worried and suffered more. Eventually, I couldn't stand it and ran to her house. I climbed the tree in front of a window and watched her do her homework. Then she took out her pajamas and realized that she was about to start undressing. I felt uncomfortable. I decided that it was time to leave. It was kind of weird that I was doing this, after all. But at the same time right now, I still wanted to be close to her. I craved a hug and even a kiss. From the horror of these thoughts, I fell out the tree. I just became so obsessive. Every day, I wanted to go up to her and hug her, but I realized that by doing so, I would violate my boundaries and more importantly, her boundaries. This tormented me very much. My friend noticed the change and invited me and Bella to this birthday party. On the eve, he told me, "Don't slow down, friend. I think she likes you too." And then I realized I really like her. And if she likes me too, then what's the big deal? We gotta act. I went over to her. We talked and I introduced myself and we drank cocktails for a long time. I offered her to walk her out, and on the way I wanted to take her hand. I asked if she didn't mind, and in response, she hugged me. What I felt was impossible to describe. It was as if I was lifted into heaven and then sharply thrown into hell of lava. It was amazing, but it stung and hurt when she touched me. I clenched my teeth and tried to endure it, but the pain got worse. I screamed, and then I don't remember anything else. I woke up in the hospital. My body was badly burned. I lost consciousness from the pain and shock. I didn't understand anything. What was going on? My phone was full of messages from Belle. She apologized and didn't understand what happened to me. My parents were silent and just assured me that I needed sleep and rest. Sleep cures everything, apparently. When they left, Belle came in. I asked her to take my hand and again I had the same feeling. Utter bliss and then hellish pain. She bounced away from me, realizing that she was hurting me. And at that moment, I thought that she'd be gone forever. But she was adamant that we should work it out. And because she had actually liked me for a really long time, I was not ready to leave things as they were. It was the happiest moment of my life. She left and I wrote to my mom asking for an explanation. She said that she didn't understand anything, but I felt that she did. Belle came every day to see me. My parents were obviously not happy to see her, but couldn't do anything about it. As soon as I was discharged, I couldn't go back to school just yet. And then one day she asked everyone to get together in one room. She said that we needed to talk. At this point, she was like a detective from an old movie. We sat in a semicircle. She walked across from us. She stopped, looked around, and said, "Case solved. I know the reason." Mom gasped. Dad hugged her for the first time in his life and said, "It must be time. But we'll tell it ourselves." And he began to talk. He spoke very long and calmly. And I couldn't believe my ears. It doesn't happen that way. Once, a long time ago, my parents couldn't have a baby, and one night their doorbell rang, and there I was on the doorstep. I was a very handsome and calm child, but everything changed as soon as I was touched. Burns appeared on my skin, and I began to scream unbearably. My parents were shocked, but they didn't want to give me away. They took out custody and developed a series of strict rules that would limit touching. And they did it well for many years until I fell in love. Now, we have to decide for ourselves whether or not we should be together and not touch each other or break up. In that moment, everything in my life fell into place and everything became clear. I looked at Belle and she smiled and said that she hadn't gone through all the archives at the local library. She said that she hadn't just gone through all the archives at the local library. Apparently, it's a genetic disease, very rare. But people live with it and oftentimes live successfully. There was once a family of immigrants from out of state called the Undertrotters. They moved again, but judging by the description of their faces, I'm related to them. Belle said that we could look them up and find out how they lived and what they used to do to save themselves from the burns. It was an interesting idea, and we began our search. In fact, it turned out that it would not be an easy task. They move regularly and we can't find them, but I didn't lose hope. That incident turned everything upside down for me. Mom and Dad are finally smiling, often hugging and even kissing in front of me. It was like it was a brighter at home. I realized that touching me through my clothes may not feel so good, but it doesn't hurt that much anymore. And now my parents hug me every day. I realized that touching me through my clothes may not feel so good, but the pain gradually went away. And now my parents hug me all the time. I'm very happy. We communicate a lot with Belle. We talk, go to picnics, and sit for hours in archives and libraries to find as much information as possible and constantly talk and cuddle. I've missed this warmth in my life so much that now I'm ready to embrace everything in the world, except we are left with one problem. I don't know how to kiss her. Never had any practice. Maybe you guys have some ideas? Write us some in the comments. If you liked the video, then please comment down below, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe.